Welcome to the Turnaround Take. I'm Joe Sarachek, and today I'm joined by my friend Howard Abrahams, president of Morewood Funding, where he helps businesses access capital when conventional lenders can't or won't lend. Hi, Howard.
Joe, it's great to be with you. What a treat.
Howard, tell us a little bit more about Morewood Funding. And you know how much I love the name Morewood. So first, let's start. Like, where did you get that name?
Well, Joe, I was looking for something that relates to nature and something we need more of. And you want to say more gold, and wood is a proxy for capital. We all need more wood. And I live on a street also called Morewood. So that was the genesis of the name. But yeah, we all need more wood, Joe, for sure.
And by the way, if you borrow from Howard, or with Howard's help, you're going to get an unbelievable coffee mug.
I
Um,
happen to have it here, Joe. Thank you. Thanks for the plug.
I took a picture with it. Howard, tell us about the types of companies Morewood helps finance.
Yeah, sure, Joe. Let me take a real brief step back before I do that, though. I'm a non-practicing attorney. Spent most of my career in finance, raising capital for complex hedge fund strategies, and then 6 years ago, right before COVID, coincidentally, I wanted to go out on my own. Thought that I could add a lot of value to certain areas of the business ecosystem. Specifically, I noticed that businesses, lower middle market, or low, what I call lower middle market businesses, sort of businesses under 100 million, weren't being well served by banks. Banks were going bigger and bigger and tougher and tighter and tighter, and that there were all sorts of fantastic businesses under 100 million in revenue that weren't getting access to banks. At the same time, there were the growth coming out of the global financial crisis. There was the growth of alternative lenders that could take a more liberal view of the bank than banks could. They didn't have the same restraints and constraints that regulations that banks had, so it could take a more liberal view and maybe perhaps look at collateral as opposed to credit, as opposed to cash flow. And I thought that I could fill that gap by introducing businesses like that to lenders, finance companies, non-bank lenders that might be willing to serve that cohort.
So, Howard, are there specific industries that are easier to finance?
Yeah, no question about it. If you think about it, that what we're doing here really is, or non-bank lenders are really focusing more on collateral than cash flow. Uh, it's industries that have collateral, and that lends itself to manufacturing and distribution, uh, staffing where collateral's classified as receivables, CPG, consumer products, where collateral is classified either as purchase orders, receivables. If there's some manufacturing component to the CPG business, then there might be machinery and equipment, there might be inventory. But hard collateral or financial collateral, again, as opposed to cash flow.
And are these the type of borrowers that are overlooked by traditional lenders, but are still financeable?
Yeah, no question they're financeable because again, they do have good collateral. Are they overlooked by traditional lenders? I think that, you bring to a man with a hammer, every problem's a nail, and commercial banks are not equipped and probably can't support these types of businesses. Ironically, many of these alternative lenders get their warehouse lines, get their wholesale money from banks. So in other words, the banks are indirectly
Banking.
lending to
Yep.
these businesses, which potentially, if you've read all the chatter about challenges in private credit, potentially represents a challenge to the system or a problem.
What kind of information, obviously I'm a turnaround guy. What type of information do you need from turnaround professionals to obtain financing?
Yeah. So financial statements, balance sheet, income statement, uh, prior year tax returns, bank accounts to verify the cash, and then more information on the collateral. Again, if it's inventory, detailed inventory listing. If it's machinery, detailed machinery listing. If it's AR, an AR aging report to see what receivables are out there and the quality of those receivables, listed by debtor and listed by age.
Howard, I'm going to throw you a surprise question. What's been the favorite deal that you've gotten done in recent memory? And what's a poster child for?
Well, I worked on a couple of where I pulled rabbits out of a hat. One was actually a lender finance deal, not where it's a lender in New York that then lends to lenders in the emerging markets, true emerging markets. And I was able to source a lender based in Oregon that was comfortable providing a warehouse loan to this lender in New York that then again lend on to other lenders in the emerging markets. And then it would have to be also from a satisfaction standpoint at the bottom of COVID, helping some businesses that were deeply distressed by COVID, but uh, helping them obtain financing, which carried them across the valley.
And I kind of remember recently you and I were talking about, and we won't mention names, but like a restaurant or multi-restaurant
Yep,
deal that you were pretty happy that you were going to get
that's
done.
exactly right. Now that was a cash flow loan. That's a good example of it, and I'll get into that specific loan in a moment. But that's an example of a business that absolutely could have gone to a bank. But a bank, I would say, would be a suboptimal lender, primarily because they have significant growth plans, and a bank would not support their growth. So that was a $15 million facility to a fast casual restaurant chain that has very, very ambitious growth prospects, and it was both debt and a little bit of equity.
By the way, Howard, if you see those, just so you know, our fund, Strategic Liquidity, we buy like Visa, MasterCard claims and other intangibles. And restaurant chains have large, obviously credit card receivables. And often there are class action cases associated with that. And so we would love a look at those opportunities. And you could just consider it financing or we'd purchase their claim. Those are very interesting opportunities.
Great
Uh,
point, Joe. Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell our viewers, Howard?
Yeah, non-bank lenders are ready, willing, and able. They're liquid. They're looking to deploy money every single day. And if you've got collateral or you've got a business that you believe you can pay back the loan from the lender, they're out there and ready to lend. And again, it's not just a question of you can't access a bank. That's sort of sometimes the story, but it's also a question of whether a bank is a suboptimal solution, whether if there's significant growth involved, right? And you need nimbleness and you need speed and you're going to continually need money to fund that growth. It's possible that a bank, or likely that a bank, is not the right solution.
Howard, thanks for all your insight and taking the time to do this interview. Please let my audience know where to connect with you.
That's great, Joe. Thanks. I can be reached by phone or text at 917-561-7074, or just email me at Howard at Morewood Funding. That's MOREWOOD funding.com.
As for me, Joe, please DM me or leave comments on LinkedIn. Let me know your thoughts about this interview or any other subject matter you care to discuss involving distressed assets. Thank you again, Howard. Speak to you
Thanks,
soon.
Joe. It's been a pleasure always.